and what that entails. How was shine the order on down.
Yep. For thou hast been a shelter for me and a strong tower from the enemy.
Who's the enemy? Man? Who's the number one enemy right now? Esau, man. You know. Now you got enemies of the other nations.
And enemies amongst
You
our own
got
nation.
enemies amongst our own nation. You got enemies amongst your family, man.
Yeah.
You know. But no matter what, the Lord has protected us and been a shelter from us. Okay, from our enemies, man. You know, nothing has come in our life so far. We pray it remains the same. Where it's like, well, man, to hell with the truth, man. I can't do it anymore. You know, the Lord has been a shelter. He's been a protection unto His elect, man. Ultimately, we're ending the Day of Atonement. Ultimately, because He's forgiven us through His Son Yahweh Shai. Okay, so a day like today, which we're about to end, we think upon how wretched we are. That's right. You know how filthy we are, but how holy and righteous, as far as our minds can perceive or conceive, rather, how righteous and holy Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is. How forgiving the Lord is, man. You know, hence why we afflict our souls, man. You know, so that we can rise up in this. Whilst we deprive the flesh, we increase in the spirit. Okay, you know, the rising of the spirit to be closer to our power, to be closer to our God, man. You know, because at the end of the day, without the Lord being a shelter for us, what would have been of us, man? You know.
And it's very interesting because, as you said, we afflict our flesh. We afflict our flesh today to rise in the spirit. But that's the only way that you can really perceive this truth. You've got to be spiritual. Because if you're carnal, you're not going to be able to see all the ways that Yahweh Shai is being that shelter for us. Because if you're carnal, you're not going to perceive it. You'll just think, well, like looking around this park, most people just think, oh, well, this is just any other Monday. But we know it's the Day of Atonement, High Holy Day. So we're in this spirit of mourning and afflicting our souls. But these people, they don't have any perception of it. So therefore, they can't perceive the spiritual things. Actually, continue on with that. Yeah, okay, verse 4. I will abide in thy tabernacle forever.
Tabernacle is what the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. You know, the scriptures say, there is the good way, walk therein. You know, to abide in the tabernacle forever is what I mean. A tabernacle, a physical tabernacle, is a building, it's a structure, a temple. You know, once you enter into it, there's a difference between you being outside and inside. You know, like we oftentimes say, if a brother's got to go use the bathroom or whatever, when you leave the vicinity of brothers at the camp, it's like you feel like you've stepped outside of a building.
Yeah.
Because spiritually, like you're, or physically rather, you're away from that cipher. But then when you come back in, you know, you feel like you've entered into the building again. It's all spiritual, man. So when it says, I will abide in thy tabernacle, it's talking about the truth, man. You know, you can't come into the truth and then, you know, well, yeah, your heart about Shimmy or shine the Bible thing, but, you know, let me see if I can incorporate a little bit of Quran. You know, let me see if I can get some Talmud in there. Like, I'm from Joshua, man. You can't do that, man. To abide in the temple, because what does that do? That profanes the temple. That makes it unholy, man.
Yeah.
You know, you can't. I did a video on it a couple of years ago.
Spicy temple.
Yeah, Spicy Kemet, you know, talking about Hotep and all that stuff, man. You know, and then Black Woman's God and all that stuff. You know, I did a video a couple of years ago of these dudes in prison, and you can sad souls, man. Sad souls. You can see that they've been heavily influenced by the Hebrew Israelite thing and Islam. You know, they're trying to marry the two together. They were doing like, you know how the Muslims do the Allah Akbar and that and stuff. They were doing all of that, but using the names Yahweh Shai, Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. You know, and you could just see they were totally gone, man. But that's what? That's profaning the temple, man. You're using the name of the Lord, but you wanna spice it up with this and spice it up with that. Nah, man. Enter into the tabernacle of the Lord and stay there, man. That's the aim. That's the objective. You know, you want to be going off to another path,
bringing in that leaven.
Man. You know.
What do we say? Verse 5. Yeah. For thou, O Most High, hast heard my vows. Thou hast given me the heritage.
Who heard my vows? The vow is to what? To occupy until the Lord comes, man. You know, like if you have a business, right? you have the CEO, you have the manager, there's the regional manager, the different levels of hierarchy and management, right? But guess what? There's an aim of that business, man. All right. Let's just use a fast food shop, McDonald's. McDonald's don't specialize in selling cars, man. They're trying to get you that quick GMO food, man. You know, you go to Tesla, they ain't interested in giving you a 5-star gourmet meal. They're trying to sell you that supercar. So if you go into the business as an employee and you have different agendas to what the business specifies, then you're gonna end up getting sussed out and fired, man.
Yep.
You're a car sell a dealership dude. What business do you have talking about Gordon Ramsay? This is how you make the burger.
Yeah.
Did you slice it like this and do that? It's two different industries, man. The industry we're in is preaching the word of the Lord so that his elect may be sealed, man. So if you try and come and add something else and you go away from your vow, the vow is the contract.
Yep.
You signed that 9 to 5, yeah, I'm gonna do 12 hours a day. I'm doing 8 hours a day. And my job is to flip burgers. Or my job is to sell cars. Or my job is, I don't know, whatever the job description is. If you start operating outside of that vow, that contract, you're not performing it.
Exactly.
So what happens? You become a unprofitable servant. You become a liability to the business.
That's why the scripture says, occupy until I come. Now, Shai said that. Which when you look up the word occupy, the word occupy is business. So we're involved in the business. So we're supposed to do what's required of the business like the brother's going into. And that includes enduring unto the very end. Then you will be saved. That's the way that it goes.
I was going to say, it's a very good point because when I was reading Ephesians 6 and 11, it talks about, hierarchies, principalities, and things like that, right? If you look at any business, like the brother was going into, you've got your manager, your area manager, your regional manager, then you've got the CEOs, then they've got their board of directors, right? They're all accountable to the people who have the stock in the company. So if someone's not doing their part, they've got to give an account. Hang on a minute, so how come this division is failing? And they've got to sort that problem out, otherwise the business will fail. It's the same in this truth. We're accountable to Yahweh Shai. So it's not like you can come in and do your own thing, do your own way. You got to be accountable to those above you, which means you've got your elders who you see in the flesh, but even then, in the spiritual realm, you're accountable to Yahweh Shai, not only in the Most High.
Yeah, because you get the perks of the job, man. What's the point in having a contract, right? And then there's certain perks. You get your 30 days, your 60 days annual leave. You get your sick pay. Okay. What happens? You get certain vouchers you can take and use in different places. All the various. You get your wages, man. What's the point in being? Why should the Lord have you under His good graces if you're doing the job wrong? You're gonna be outside of the hierarchy. Man. You're gonna be outside of the employment. Why are you gonna be under the blessings and the protection of the Lord when you're doing the job wrong? If you get fired from a job, they don't keep paying you.
Exactly.
They wait till your last paycheck and then that's it. Okay, here, that's the final pay. We've settled our accounts. Good luck to you. We'll run our business our way and hope you find another job. But I've had 2 jobs before. Does that mean you're still getting 2 roll-on paychecks? Nah, man, the business is done. So to be under the good graces, to be under the favor of the Lord, we have to be doing what the Lord requires of us, man. And that's where Christianity fails, man, because Christianity is a happy-go-lucky, free-for-all emotional ride. Whereas we understand the scriptures is a business, man. I tell you to do this, and you do it. And in return, I protect you. I deliver you. Okay? It's not, no, I just do what I want, and either way, God loves me. Now, God hates, man. And God does bad. And God judges, man. And that's the time we're living in. Oh,
this is Luke 11, verse 23. He that is not with me is against me, and he that gathereth not with me scattereth.
Yeah, exactly, man. If the room is, I say all the time, if the house is unclean, right? The house is filthy, you got things all over the place, dust gathering on books, on the floor, stains on the whatever, man. You may spill a drink or whatever, man. Okay, and everybody in the house says, man, this is getting out of hand. We're gonna put aside 2-3 hours and clean the house. You do the bathroom, I'll do the stairs. This brother does the living room. A couple other brothers do the bedroom, right? Cool. We're all in our sectors, but we're all cleaning. But then if one brother, nah, fuck it, I'm just gonna get the ketchup, spray it on the floor. And I'm gonna purposely knock over the drink. Well, then you're not gathering. You're scattering.
right.
You're not cleaning. You're dirtying.
Yep.
So then someone is in the team is gonna clock on. Oh, hold on. You're going against the objective, man.
Yeah.
You know, you're going up against the objective. You gotta get told off and start cleaning up, or you get the fuck out.
Yes.
Right.
You know,
It's just as simple as A, B, and C.
that's it, man. You know, you either get on board with the program, which is to clean up the house, or you leave the house.
Yep.
You know. Go on, yes,
This is Romans 13, verse 1. Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power of the Most High, but of the Most High. The powers that be are ordained of the Most High.
There you go.
Verse 2.
So there you go. Hold on, man. That's right, man. Let every soul be subject to the higher powers, man. And we spoke about it in Psalm 61, the rock ultimately being Yahweh Shai. But then, as Ahab was reading, Yahweh Shai set up the order under himself. That first foundational rock is Peter. That's right. So you have to be subject to our heads, man. You know, and that goes all the way up to the top, and it goes all the way down to your immediate level, man.
Exactly.
Every camp has elders, man. You know, this brother here, he's the head of the camp, man. And along with the other elder, you can't say, brother, no, I ain't doing it. What the fuck? If it's within the scriptures, it's not off, and it's a command. We gotta fucking do it, man. It's as simple as that. But that's that Christian. Oh well, pastor said, but I don't agree with pastor. Like we had that GOCC woman come up. Remember?
Yeah.
Over there. And before we started, and then she goes, well, the congregate, and they were right because they were teaching them some bullshit. But the congregation doesn't agree with the leadership. Well, if it's right and you don't agree, then fuck off, man.
That shows their house is crumbling. It's the two work together.
As they be
And you all need to agree with the leader. If you don't agree with the leader, then you don't really have a building. You don't have a construct.
Okay.
So if you don't have a construct, then it's destroyed.
And
Yeah.
that's that talking about buildings and rocks. That's that cornerstone.
Boy.
That cornerstone, when you check it in masonry, that's the integral, the key integral stone. If that is off by 1 degree, all of the rest of the building and their 4 walls can be off, man. You know, but then guess what? If all those other bricks don't support that cornerstone, then it can also fall. So, as the elder's saying, man. So if the elder says, well, you gotta go with the vibration of the leaders, man. Because the Holy Spirit has put it where you're just the guy in the camp, I'm just the guy in the camp, and they're the head for a reason.
Yeah.
If the Holy Spirit's working with them, go along, man.
It's like the precept you brought out before. Goes like this: entered into other men's labors.
Yeah, yes.
So you have to know, okay, these guys who came before me, this is how they've set the standard up. The spirit and power of the Lord. So you got to go by that standard. It is what it is. Like you can't set up your own thing. Think, okay, well the Lord is dealing with me now because I know a few scriptures there and there. I'm gonna bounce and go somewhere else with it. Like certain one of us that we know about. You know what I mean? So you going in that kind of spirit, man, you're basically you're only moving unilaterally. You're being self-willed rather than going with the will of the Father. This whole thing, such as what we're involved in, is truth. It's really all about Yahweh Bashman Shah.
Yeah.
So when we do the work, we're not doing it because we want to do it or to get some vain glory or what have you. We're doing it to please the Lord, hoping that we get saved at the end of the day. That's why we partake in the Day of Atonement, and we don't necessarily have to do the Day of Atonement because the Lord was the atoner of our sins. He was the sacrificial lamb. He died for our sins. So technically, we don't have to do it, but we're doing it after the respect of the doctrine.
Book of Matthew, chapter 21, starting at verse 26, it says, but if we shall say of men, we fear the people, for all hold John as a prophet. And they answered Yahushua and said, we cannot tell. And he answered them, neither tell I you by what authority I do these things. Yep. But what think ye? All right, jump down. 29. He answered and said, I will not, but afterwards he repented and went.
Okay, so now 27.
Right, let's go 27 again. Right, and they answered Yahushua and said, we cannot tell. And he said unto them, neither tell I you by what authority I do these things. But what think ye? A certain man had 2 sons.
There we go. That's the point.
Yep. And he came to the first and said, Son, go work a day in my vineyard. And he answered and said, I will not. But after he repented and went. And he came to the second and said likewise. And he answered and said,
Yeah, because a lot of brothers, a lot of us have the same sort of story coming in. We just wanted to learn and sit in the background, man. You know, but then the point came where the Holy Spirit got on us and was like, okay, you need to go and work a day in the vineyard. You need to put your share, your effort in. And then a lot of us were reluctant, man. Oh, I don't know about that, man. You know, getting the drum and putting these fun things at the end of it, and blue ribbons, and, you know, standing on the street. I ain't too sure about that, man. You know, so basically, originally it was like, nah, fuck that. I ain't. I believe, but nah, I ain't doing it, man. You know,
right. And he came to the second and said likewise. And he answered and said, I go, sir, and went not.
yeah. So be careful, man. There you go. The first son, he wasn't really on it, but then he thought about it and he was like, you know what? It's not good if I disappoint my father. He's asked me to do something, even though I'm skeptical. I ain't really feeling it. At the end of the day, it's my father, and he's asked me to go and work a day in his vineyard. So let me put my feelings to the side. Let me man up and get my ass into the vineyard. So, and that's what he did. So at first he said, man, to hell with that. But then he went and did it. But then you had the second son that was like, oh yes, Abba, yes, I'll do it. No worries, pops. I got you, dad. You know, go and smoke up his father's ass. And then did he go? No. So keep going up.
Whither of them twain did the will of his father? They say unto him the first.
Exactly. So who was the righteous one? Who was the one that did the will of his father? The first one. Why? Because even though he wasn't feeling it at the beginning, he realized that despite my feelings, despite my fears, despite my skepticisms, all right, and my queries and my unsettling thoughts, all right, my dad's asked me to do something. So I'm gonna go and do it. So once again, blessed is the man who when his Lord come, so fine doing. Not promising, you know, not saying yes and not turning up, but so fine doing, man.
You guys gonna be here next week?
Yeah, next week I'll be there. This spot, yeah? Yeah, sure, this spot. Reconfirming and shit, and they don't turn up, man. You know, and as we was talking about leadership as well, it's like sometimes, you know, the leadership may say something and you don't really see it. Well, you better pray to see it, you know. But then, even if you don't see it straight away, it's like, well, no, well, it's the order, man.
Exactly.
You know, I gotta go along with it. And then so trust the process, and years later, it could be years, it could be months, it could be days, it could be a night, however long the period of time is. If the spirit was working with it, you'll say, it makes sense, you know. But then you've got men that liken unto the second son, you know, everything they just want to appear to be right. That false righteous demon, man. You know, I'm just gonna yep. I'm diligent 24/7. Don't take breaks. Da.
Yeah, I read the scriptures 24/7. Yeah,
You know,
I have no lie.
and then what happens when it actually comes down to going to the vineyard? They didn't turn up, man. And that's the scary thing. You can appear to be on the vineyard, but you're not turning up.
Yeah,
you're not really doing it. The apostles keep telling us, man, beware of the truth demon. Now, everyone that puts a garment on, gives the opening salute, and reads a couple of scriptures for an hour or so, and then packs it in, is actually doing the work.
exactly.
Again, if you do the job description wrong, you're gonna get fired. You know?
Well, it's equivalent to the story of what is it? Cain and Abel.
Oh yeah, I can get it from water.
Yeah, the water, brother.
Should I get it for you?
Whoever can get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's equivalent to that because they both were participating in giving the sacrifice, but who gave the rank sacrifice? As we're gonna go into this, it was Abel.
All right,
So go on, brother.
so like a limit to cut you finish. Right, Genesis 4. And in the process of time, Genesis 4 and verse 3. In the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought forth the fruit of the ground as an offering to the Lord. But Abel, he also brought the firstlings of his flock and the fat thereof. And Yahweh had respect unto Abel and to his offering.
Yeah, because he simply gave, like the brother was saying, it's not basically in the round, you know, I'm just saying it my way. It's not how you do the work, but excuse me, it's not you being told to do the work. It's how the work is done and how the Lord wants the work to be done. So it's the same thing with this story here with Cain and Abel. Abel, get the water, brother. Yeah, Abel gave the correct sacrifice. So the Lord had respect of it because it was the correct sacrifice. Cain didn't give the correct sacrifice, but he had an attitude about it. Oh, like Lord, like having this mentality of getting all jealous of his brother and all that. But the brother gave the correct sacrifice. He told you what was required, right? So it's the same thing with us. Well, excuse me, he told him what was required, but he didn't do it. So it's the same thing with us, right? When we're told to do a particular job in a particular way the Lord wants it to be done, that's how it's got to be done. You know what I'm saying? You can't add or take away from that. It is what it is.
What is meticulous.
Right.
You know?
Right. You're going, brother.
A great point of that is when the Most High was giving Moses the instructions about the tabernacle and how all the ornaments were supposed to be made and the curtains and stuff. Or even when the Most High gave Noah the instructions to make the ark, he said to make it out of gopher. Did Noah go out and think, hey, you know what, man, I'm just going to cut out any old tree, it's wood in it, and just build the ark like that? No, it said Noah was moved with fear. Exactly. That's the thing. Can't be cowboy builders, cowboy tradesmen in this street. See, Noah was moved with fear, man.
That's word for the cowboy.
Yes,
traders and shit.
yeah.
Cowboy prophet.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
But it's true, man. And we have to be moved with that same fear, man. When we're told through the Spirit, you know, certain things need to be done in order. The scriptures even say, let all things be done decently and in order.
Yeah.
And the Most High is not the author of confusion.
That's right. So again, it's about how the work is being done. Like the brother just mentioned that you got men, and I mean I've seen videos of certain brothers say certain things about whatever was going on and all of that in their camp, and certain brothers seem like certain brothers in pretty much making an effort to come to camp. Like, you gotta make it to camp. You gotta be all about this. This is our life, man. Like, we don't have a life. That's right. If you would have really, like, if every brother was to really look at their life, let's just be real about it. Our life ain't worth shit, man. Our life is in Yahweh Bashmial Shot. The Lord promised us a life. This is not it. So you should be obligated to feel like, yo, I want to do this work so I can get to experience what life is all about. Yahweh Shai promised us eternal life. Esau is already telling you where you're going to be at in this world. You ain't going to be shit in this world. As long as they're on top, you're going to stay at the bottom. And everybody else is going to be at the bottom. Yeah? So at the end of the day, if Yahweh Shai don't get back over here, then we ain't going to be nothing, man. So that's why we should be feeling like it's mandatory to do the work so that we can experience what the kingdom of heaven is going to be firsthand. Go on, bro.
This is 1 John 2:15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
And every single aspect of this world is not of the Father, man. This whole, when you actually analyze this whole entire world, man, or if you was even do a sit down, a video about how this world has committed the amalgamation of sins that is committed, man, you be doing a show all fucking day just based on that, convincing all those that believe that this world is totally wicked, man. So for you to be a part of this world, that means, again, like I said a couple of days ago, if you're in this world, man, and people like you and all of that, it's really because you're in the world. You're spiritually connected with the world. And that's a problem, because this world is not of the Father, but it's of what?
It says, for all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life,
And the pride of life, on,
is not of the Father, but of the world.
yeah. And that's exactly what it is. When you go to school, you go to different colleges, what have you, universities especially, you get these degrees to basically, so that you can pretty much puff your chest out,
yeah,
and say, yeah, I made it in the world and I'm better than certain people, and it's all about pride. And then, you can show up to the ladies and nice cars and just basically like pretty much inflating your ego to show the world that you mean something now. Like, that's what this is all about. But that's not the Father. See, what we take pride in is doing the right thing, doing Yahweh Shai's work. That's what we take pride in. We don't take pride in this world, man. And I mean, I don't mean to hold up because I know you two brothers got something to say.
Right, keep going.
But I just want to just say this too, man. As you just wrote it out among the brotherhood chat, that what is it? The prime minister has been declared to be Liz Truss. She's going to be the new prime minister of this country. Yeah. So, and when you look at the woman, she already looks like she's already stressed out before she even got it. You know, her face is all pale and everything like that. She ain't ready to do the job. She's got advisories and she knows what she's got to do. She knows she's gonna have to pull the plug.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, this place is over and out. So what you got to focus on is what's gaining value now. There's a world that's coming up, and there's a world that we're in right now that's going down.
This is on the point, verse 17. And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of the Most High abideth forever.
Abiding forever. That's the point. This world is getting ready to pass on. It's getting ready to pass away. You look at people just look bored, man. Playing with their dogs on a Monday. Don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. Dog gathering, innit?
Not gathering.
You know what I mean?
Like, it's just like, bro, like
It's the breed gathering.
they don't have a meaningful life. What you say, bro?
No, I'm laughing at that dog gathering.
You know what I'm saying? Like the dogs are going all over the park, all around. You know, they going around. You know, around the same area. So it's just they look like they bored, man.
Wasting their time,
They're
really.
wasting their time. The world has no zest.
Yeah, I'm picking up shit behind him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So it's just this ain't like this world is crumbling apart. We're gonna have more issues to come in the world, which we have current issues in the world, like down there in China. You got the people down there in Chengdu, China.
They're selling drones, isn't it?
Yeah. Tell the people to stay indoors. You know what I mean? And you got people coming outside of their doors trying to get food because the government ain't trying to feed them. So it's gonna happen right here too. The same thing that's going on over there in China.
I'm loving it.
Right? It's gonna come over here.
You saw the one that Elder the one that said in the chat where they're screaming inside the the houses. You know, the kids are screaming for hunger.
Exactly.
They're hungry.
Yeah,
Howling for hunger.
Dogs again. Yeah,
that's right.
And it'll come here. It'll come here.
It's coming, man. It's coming because it only begins with one country, then another country, and then it's going to trigger down. It's going to trickle up to these developing countries. That one of them that we're in right now. So people are playing their dogs. They're going out trying to avoid reality, but reality is bleak out there. And these mainstream media outlets are telling the truth that this world has no future. Go on, bro.
If I may say, it's very interesting because it seems like the way Esau is doing this is in stages. And China is one of the places where they're very strict, where they're doing a lot of these. They're basically going out all out. You know, they've got like, if you come against our system, you're going to lose your social credit score. They're going all out.
Yeah.
The second next place would probably be Australia, where they were giving them hell during the C-19 thing lockdown, where they were shooting them with rubber bullets and shit. Those are just trial areas, and people think, look, people are so simple. They're thinking, oh well, that's just over in Australia, that's just in China. Not realizing that, hang on a minute, that their agenda is a new world order. That's right. It's all going to be unified under this one system. So what's happening out there is damn sure it's coming over here.
Yeah.
But you know what though, to really be real, to be truthful out here, right? People already know in the back of their minds that this they can come around here.
But they just distract themselves.
Yeah, they just don't want to entertain that thought that maybe it could come around here. But they know it's going to come around here, and that's the scary thing. Because if it does come around here, that means that basically they're going to lose what they have in their livelihood. You have a lot of these devils, man, the millionaires. They got money hidden in certain places, so you know they shoot themselves because eventually the time is going to come where they're going to have to go under surveillance, under the skin, as my man Arabi Yuzu said.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So then everything is going to be basically dead and naked towards the government. Going, you got something.
Oh, you had something? Go on,
Yeah,
bro. You go. You go, brother.
Matthew 10.
Speak up, brother. Speak up.
This is Matthew chapter 10, verse 39. He that findeth his life shall lose it, and he that loseth his life for my sake shall find it.
That's it, man. So at the end of the day, you don't have a life here. I don't care if you're in the world and you in the clubs and you getting the women out there. You just living that life where everything's going your way. You got your wife and your children, including, you dabbling with women in the club whenever you want to, behind your wife or whatever. Like you just gotta like that, right? Guess what, man? You don't have a life. You don't have a life because it's more to life than just chasing pom pom. You know, as Benjamin would say. You know what I'm saying? Chasing ass all day. Like there's more things to that than what you were told or what this world told you to chase.
That's the life of an animal. An animal just thinks about sex and food.
Yeah.
So as a man, it's lucky to chime in, but as a man, you're supposed to be of a higher stature. You're supposed to think about heavenly things. If you're an Israelite, you've got an obligation towards the Heavenly Father, man, not to live as a beast.
Right. That's it. That's right, man.
What's up, man?
You're going, bro.
Matthew 10, to back up the brother. Matthew 10, verse 33. But whosoever shall deny me before men, him will I also deny before my Father which is in heaven.
Yeah, we're trying to get to the kingdom, man. I mean, I don't know about you guys out there that's watching this thing for entertainment. If you do come across this line, right? But we want the kingdom.
Whoa.
We seriously want the kingdom like we need to breathe, man. Because we're suffocating out there. And it's bad, you know. But going back to what the brother was going into is the laboring. And we're supposed to labor to enter into that rest. So I want you to get 2 scriptures. I want you to get Shalom, brother. Hey. You know, I want you to get me what is it? I think it's Ephesians 4. Where it reads, I think it's either Hebrews 4 or Ephesians 4. Could be Hebrews 4, where it talks about that we should labor to enter into this rest.
Yeah.
Shalom, brother.
Yeah, I've got you. Hebrews 4. Hebrews 4 from verse 1. Let us therefore fear, lest the promise being left of us entering into his rest, any of you should come short of it.
That's right. Let's read on. Read that again.
Right. Hebrews 4 and 1. Shalom. Shalom. Let us therefore fear, lest a promise being left of us entering into his rest, any of you should seem to come short of it.
Yeah, so you got to have that fear. So when you have that fear of the Lord, guess what? That fear is used to do the Lord's work. So that you can labor. Because you know, okay, this is what's required. If I don't do it, then I'm going to be left out here in the wind. And I'm not going to get the kingdom. I'm not going to get the prize. Because you can't have your cake and eat it too, like the saying goes. You can't be in the world, live your best life in the world and all of that extra stuff. And then, you trying to use the truth in your own personal gain, like a lot of these other camps are doing that we know about. Go on, bro. They're trying to get that they're trying to please, well, they're pleasing the world to get the world's attention, and they're using the truth for their own personal gain. That's wrong, man. Yeah, going on. Just real quick, bro.
2 Corinthians 5 and 11.
So you got some more on that.
Yeah. Knowing therefore the terror of the Lord, we persuade men.
Absolutely.
But we are made manifest unto the Most High, and I trust also are made manifest in your conscience.
That's right.
For we commend not ourselves again unto you, but give you occasion to glory on our behalf, that ye may have somewhat to answer them which glory in appearance,
exactly,
and not in heart.
And not in heart. So you're supposed to glory in doing the Lord's work through fear, as we persuade men through fear of the Lord. Okay, because it's all about you putting your brick in, putting your labor into this truth. What are you producing? That's what life is all about, right? Everyone comes here to give their kind of what they produce. So yes, there's no such thing as just coming in the truth, or you coming into the camp and all of a sudden you got your hands in your pocket and you could just like stand there and look like you in the goddamn forest somewhere. Moving your head like a moose. You know what I mean? In the depths of the forest is what I wanted to say. Nah, man, you have to be useful to a degree.
I like that one.
All right, we're all vessels, and we have to be useful vessels.
Go on, bro. This is Genesis 6 verse 22. Pay attention to the wording. Thus did Noah, according to all that the Most High commanded him, so did he.
Exactly.
The key word there being all. Yep. Not some, not 50%, all that he was commanded, he did.
All that he was commanded. So that's what we have to do. We have to do all that which is commanded. And that's what proves that you may be a man of the Lord if you do all of his will. Not 95%, not 50%, not 25%. The Lord wants you to be 100%. That's why we teach the 100% truth.
That's why Noah, he after he finished, he chilled, he kicked back, man.
Yeah, because he did the work.
Did all what he was commanded to do.
Yeah.
If people want to get onto him about he got drunk and he was naked,
Yeah.
he was in his house, man.
That's it.
The apostles broke that down, man. When you're in your house and you drink a bit more, you in your house, man.
Right.
So you're not embarrassing the Lord outside. You in your house, man.
That's right.
Okay, but the reason,
Goddamn cool out of himself.
but the reason he did it was because he finished the work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can't kick back and then you still got work to do.
No.
I'll go back to it later. Nah, man, you finished it.
Yeah, you gotta do the work. You gotta finish the work, man.
It's like even with. Go on, you go.
I was just gonna say, Yahushua said, roughly paraphrasing, this new wine I will not drink until I'm with you in the kingdom.
How shall I kick it back?
Yeah, so he's waiting till everything's fulfilled, then he's gonna bust that new wine.
I want to say something important because when Yahushua was on the cross, what he said, it
It's
is done.
finished.
It is finished.
But
It's done. It's finished.
It was his part of the work that he did.
Right.
That's what I want to
Okay.
say.
Cool.
Yeah.
That would have been.
He played this part. He
Yeah.
finishes like Paul. Paul said, I finished my course.
Yeah.
So you got to do this thing to the very end. And we're
Mhm.
almost at the end. We can see the society crumbling apart fast now. Like I used to say gradually, but I have to change my word. It's happening fast now. Because you got Liz Truss in the building. Right? 10 down the street. She's already stressed out as it seems.
She's trust.
Right? And she's dead. She's got that dead energy in her too. Where she's got no energy because she's dead.
She got sandbags under her eyes already.
Yeah. And she ain't even done the G. She didn't even really touch the cells, man.
She might expire in office.
You never know.
Couple like months in, she just,
I can't do it no more.
here, I know Caleb's got something, but real quick again. 2 Timothy 2:3. Therefore, therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushua.
Right. Show hardness as a good soldier. So for laborers and for soldiers, the term soldier means the summer term, someone that's doing the work. Or, in their own way, not in their own way, you know what I'm saying, but you serving the Lord and you're praying. In some cases, you gotta go out there and do the work by yourself. You got some brothers that have a one-man camp. They do their own thing by themselves. But individually, all of us know, okay, we have a job to do. It's not because, I'm here because the camp is here today. No, you're here because you know you need to be here individually. Because every man has to put.
But that is own salvation. Very
There
trembling.
you go. Thank you, bro.
Lockdown showed that, Elder. Lockdown, when brothers couldn't get together, and then it's, you gonna go by yourself, you gonna go out by yourself, and certain men didn't know what to do, man.
God. And I know who you're talking about too.
And that's a shame, man. Because at the end of the day, when Jacob trouble really hits on the physical level, it's not, I'm gonna hit the brothers and we're gonna go for it together.
Yeah.
We're gonna be by ourselves, man.
That's it. That's right. So every man has to seek out their own salvation. Because everyone knows, okay, like you've been in the truth for a while. It could have been 3 years, it could have been 5 years. You already know what's up. Actually, I ain't even gonna go as far as saying that. It could be like you could have been in the truth for, let's just say, 8 months or a year. You've been in the truth long enough to know, okay, what's required. Now you may not know all of the scriptures like a guy that's put 5 years in, but you know enough to know that. You see? So if you can, brother, I want you to get me Hebrews 4 once again, where it talks about enter into our rest by the labors.
Right, so I'll start 4:1 again.
Yeah.
Let us therefore fear, lest the promise of being left us of entering into this rest, any of you should seem to come short of it.
Yeah, we want all of that which is of the promise. Go on.
For unto us was the gospel preached, as well as unto them, but the word preached did not profit them, not being mixed with faith in them which heard it.
Yes. So if you're not doing the work and you have different alternatives where you want to be in this particular world, your mind is not fully persuaded into this thing. It's really because you don't fear the Lord and you don't have faith. Those are the two things you need. It's essential. You need to fear the Lord. How much is your fear in Yahweh Shah? How much is your faith towards him? Because those are the two important elements that a man needs to overcome. Go on, brother.
For we which have believed do enter into rest.
Right. But we that believe enter into that rest. What is that rest? The kingdom. When the Lord makes a second return, and we're all pretty much standing before him or sat before him, he's going to place crowns on us. So when we get to that point, that's going to be the beginning stages of our rest. But first we have to do the work. There's no cooling in the cut, but the work hasn't been done. No, the work has to be done. It's essential that the work has to be done because there's a story that's being written now. Like for example, you have the book of Acts, right? This is the second book of Acts right now that has to end. That's right. We have to play that part. Go on, bro.
So that's why the scripture says that in the kingdom there's going to be new books to show what the prophets did on this side.
God,
That's going to be like read with amongst the other nations.
that's right.
And then our children coming back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in the old world, we were down there prophesying, and you know, the council. There's going to be a new Chronicles, man.
Yes.
You know, Rabbi Albert Pippin.
God.
You know?
God.
Yeah, a whole new book.
That's right.
Yeah.
And the book is almost finished right on this side.
New world.
Mm-hmm. Go on, bro.
Verse 3. For we which have believed do enter into rest, as he said, as I have sworn in my wrath, if they shall enter into my rest,
Mm-hmm.
although the works were finished from the foundation of the world.
Right, go on.
For he spake in a certain place of the seventh day on this wise, and the Most High did rest on the seventh day from all his works.
Right, like the Lord did. Like when the Lord created the earth, he finished it on the seventh day, which is the 7,000 years. So that's when the angels kicked back and they stopped doing what they were doing, and the Most High said, "Look, everything's done officially." So again, the same thing applies to us. Once we do the work, then the job is done. Go on, bro. Especially when especially when the time comes when they declare martial law, and at that time they're gonna have it to where you're not gonna be able to have your rights to speak, you know, your views anymore. So when that time comes, basically the time of Jacob's trouble. But I'm really looking for another term because we're fasting right now. So I'm looking for the famine of the word. When the famine of the word comes in, that's gonna be the end right there of our labor. So then what's gonna happen eventually? If we don't comply to the system and taking them off, our works will follow us thereafter. Then we will rest in the kingdom. Go on, bro.
That's a very important point because we need to know that our lives have purpose. For example, we've been put on this earth for a reason. If we're the spirits of the prophets, being subject to the prophets coming back in our lot, we're not here to just sit around fucking watching Netflix all day. We're here for a specific purpose, which is to prophesy against this kingdom. Even that alone just gives you, like, when you wake up in the morning, that's a sense of purpose. Like, you look around at all these people, they've got no purpose. That's why they're just given to idleness. And that's the thing. The scary thing about this is that if you're not doing the function that the Most High created you to do, what's to say that he's not going to take your ass back to the spiritual realm? So that's the fear that motivates us and keeps us doing what we're doing.
Now the apostle said at the camp, you're going to get deleted.
Yeah.
Control.
Yeah. Go on, huh?
This is Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 10. Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might.
Absolutely.
For there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave whither thou goest.
Beautiful scripture.
And and just to put this out there, man, like, no disrespect to anybody, but just to put this out there, this brother here, he supports what he's saying, he has his own little thing, and that's just that, because basically, pretty much, how GMS got it. Like, we don't allow, new members in, but basically, this brother here, he's basically under the same doctrine. He just doesn't, correspond with, GMS for being in the camp, to say the least in that case. But he agrees with the doctrine. So, that's a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, basically, we all gotta do the work, man. We all have to do the work. The work is important. We're here, like you just said, we all have a purpose. The purpose is to serve the Lord so that we can receive crowns on our heads and enter into that rest. As it is written that this is not our rest.
3 and 8,
yeah. And also Micah 2 and 10. Right? Yeah. As well as. So we know, okay, we have to work to enter into a particular place where we can call ours, as it is, as Yahweh Shai said, that you know, the nest know where, you know, the nest know,
Yeah.
the birds know that
Nest is-
where the nest is, but the Son of Man have no place to lay his head.
Ooh, that's
So
beautiful.
we're in that same predicament, even though we do have dwelling places, but we really don't own these dwelling places. Technically, that's why most of us fret. Or let's just say you so-called own a property, you really don't own the land you stand on. So technically, if you don't own that land that you're standing on, you don't have anything. They can kick you out, man. Okay, so we're like Yahweh Shai. We're basically homeless, but we're in dwelling
Yeah,
places.
heavy.
Pilgrims on the earth.
Yeah.
So this is the thing, man. This is listen, bro. Like our life cannot be any worse than it is right now. So we don't have a choice. Like you really think you have a choice in this world, then you're delusional. Yeah, like where the Israelites are, we're at the bottom right now. Let's just be factual. Excuse me. Yeah, we're at the bottom.
Mhm.
So we don't have a choice but to hope for something greater than where we're at. Go on, bro.
You know, there's a saying in this world, you know, they say you must soldier on. But we are the real soldiers, yeah? Because we have to be grounded in this faith. Colossians,
I know, yeah, I was going there. That's the spirit.
that's the spirit, brother. Colossians 1 verse 23. If ye continue in the faith, grounded and settled,
Mhm.
and be not moved any away from the hope of the gospel,
That's right.
which ye have heard, and which was preached to every creature, and we are creatures, aren't we? Which is under heaven, wherefore I, Paul, am made a minister.
See, vocab symbolize would use that scripture to apply to every nation. Oh, see, it's referring to the creatures of God. That means every nation. No, it doesn't
Yeah,
mean every
no,
nation.
no,
Because the only nation that can be grafted in are the Israelites.
that's it.
Okay, go on, bro.
That's
so
it,
I
brother.
mean, yeah, that's pretty much the
That's
deal
it,
right
that's
there.
the
We
word.
have to be grounded and settled
Yeah.
in by the hope of what? Being saved, receiving the kingdom.
Yeah, because
that's-
Elder, if I just say,
Go on.
because the soldiers of this world, you know, these so-called, the one that fighting, and they're just going to die for nothing,
You're gonna die.
right? But we're the real soldiers. We're fighting for the kingdom to come. You know, so we are the real soldiers. You know what I'm saying?
Because, like you just mentioned, the soldiers, they're gonna fight for us.
It's going to end.
Yeah, so they
Temporal.
basically, yeah, so they're fighting for nothing, like you said. It's vanity. Go on, bro.
Right, this is the book of Matthew chapter 6 and 19. Lay not up for yourself treasures upon the earth,
That's right.
where moth and rust doth corrupt,
Yeah.
and where thieves break through and steal.
Mhm.
But lay up for yourself treasures in heaven,
Yeah.
where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt,
That's right.
and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For
Mhm.
where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.
Yeah, so that's what you gotta do. You have to work, and when you work, what happens after you get work? You get paid. So each in time we're working, we're getting paid spiritually. Okay, we're reassuring ourselves before the heavens that we're men of the Lord, that we deserve the kingdom. So that's us. What is it? Storing up our treasures up in heaven, as it is written that seek first the kingdom of heaven, and all of those things we can add it on to you. So if you're seeking the world for approval, you're not seeking the kingdom. You're seeking Esau's world. So if you're seeking the things of Esau's world, and basically your ass is in the world. So when this world is destroyed, you're going to be destroyed with it. You're going to take that mark, that Karak mark, and you're going to be destroyed with this world. Because you want to seek approval of this world that's dying out. This world has no value anymore, man. People are immoral as ever before. People are much more dumber and stupid than ever before. That's not to be disrespectful. It is what it is. People of declined greatly. The world, this whole entire system, this society is declining greatly because we're at the end of it. So why would you invest your soul and your spirit into something that's devaluated, that has no value? Okay, it's like, for example, let's say you have an old car, right? You bought it at the year when it came out. Let's just say you bought a car back in 1960, and when you bought the car, it was cheap. But then, as you go 62 years later, now it's a classic, and it's got a storyline to it, and it's a rare car at the same time. Guess what? You can sell it later for way more than when you bought it, because that car would increase the value.
Appreciation.
Yeah, it appreciates, just like your house.
Even better still, it had no mileage on it.
Right.
You know, because even like, you know, remember Kevin Samuels used to talk about,
Mhm.
you know, talk about an antique, but what is your mileage like? You know what I
Right.
mean? You know?
Yeah.
So that is precious when when you see an antique car being stored away and you want to sell it and it has no mileage, that's even better.
That's even better.
Yeah.
It's even more appreciated.
More appreciated, yeah.
It's just like the house you stay in. Like you got some houses that appreciate more than price.
Right.
The equity goes in. So, and you know what too? Let me say even this. Let me use a better analogy. This is like you being involved in the what is it? What's it called, man? It's kind of like the stock market. Investing in this like certain stocks.
Shares.
So if you have shares in a particular thing or two that has you're right, you're what is it? You're shared in with a company that's not doing too good, then guess what? You're gonna lose your money.
Yep.
Okay. So we're supposed to basically give ourselves to something, to this right here, which is growing in value. So we give ourselves to this, we're gonna grow in value in the world.
That's right.
Go on, bro.
Just a quick point to touch on what you're saying. In this world, people give reference to people like Donald Trump or Alan Sugar as great businessmen because they're made, you know, FRNs in this world. People look at those guys like, oh yeah, like we need to go to their seminars to learn how to be good businessmen too. Really, we're the smartest businessmen on this earth being involved in this truth because our stock's going up. The value of this world is depreciating.
Exactly.
So we're making the smartest investment possible, which is in the kingdom. And in the kingdom, we're going to be amongst the richest on the earth.
That's right. And you know, it's funny that we're talking about business and you know, shares and all that, certain businesses. Guess what, man? There was a guy that you know, Pastor Hart briefly did a video on. I think he was like a chief executive or something, but he basically in his building, on his floor, the 18th floor, he fell all the way down and committed suicide. He got a lot of business folks that have made a whole lot of money in this world, and they see basically they see what's coming economically and also the currency and everything else, and they're like, you know what, I'm out. I'm not dealing with this world anymore.
Yeah.
So
Wall Street,
yeah, Wall Street.
when it crashed,
Yeah,
people were killing themselves.
people were killing themselves. So it's because the world is depreciating. The world is getting lesser in its value. So again, like, why should you? Because see, we're all a part of this economic structure. Yeah. So let's just say you're a person and you want to be a football player or a basketball player or some form of an entertainer. You're gonna have to put a lot of investment into that, energy into that, right? And then when you get there, basically, okay, you do get there because you've met the right people, you put the work in and all of that. But guess what? You've got there while the world was in decline. Yeah. So eventually, when the world reaches its end or hits ground zero, so to speak, you're gonna lose everything that you've worked for.
That's right. Precept on that. Go on, bro. Ecclesiastes 12:3. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble,
Right.
and the strong men shall bow themselves.
And who are those that are the keepers of the house? Those that are specialized in economic work. They know what's going on with the economy, and especially those that are looking at the stock market, what's going on, right? Or your economists, those that obviously are involved in that work. They know what's going on. So at the end of the day, you have a lot of people, especially when the 2008 crash happened. That happened. You just said a lot of people committed suicide because they didn't see the value of the world that they were living in anymore. They thought that the world was going to come to an end, and much more now than ever before. But when this crash happens now, it's gonna make 2008 the crash of always like a theme park.
Yep.
Because when the bubble bursts, bro, I'm telling you, like, it's gonna get real crazy out there. Everything's gonna be splattered all over the place when the bubble bursts in this place. You know what I'm saying?
Shit hit the fan, innit?
Yeah. That's what's really gonna happen. It's gonna be a splatter of shit everywhere. Go on, bro.
And it says, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows darken.
And that's what's happening, man. That's what's getting ready to, well, let me not say it's getting ready to happen. It's in to happen right now. Because right now in Europe, man, they having issues with energy because Russia, shut down the Nord Stream 1.
But Liz Truss says she can fix all that.
She can't fix all of that, man. She can't fix.
What is she, Jimmy? Is she Jimmy?
Oh yeah, probably. She's probably linked to Jimmy Savile, isn't it?
Anyway,
Jimmy will
she
fix it.
can't,
Remember,
yeah.
Jimmy will fix it.
She won't be able to fix a goddamn thing, man.
She's just one woman. Like all of the prime ministers that came before fucked up the country. So she's gonna fuck up what 40 years of a mess up of what they did in this country. It's impossible, man. She's there and she knows what she has to do.
Yeah, it's all set up.
It's
bro.
all set up.
Set
She's
up.
just in the CHIP.
That's all it is, man. Bring this economy down to nothing. You know, have people wallowing out here with their mouths wide open, starving to death, so that they can get the mark, man. Point blank in the story. Go on, bro.
Yeah, that's it on that. That's it.
Yeah, so I mean, hey man, we're at that point where the grinding is going to cease. Because if these stores can't afford the energy, because energy is what powers this world. So if the energy can't be afforded, then there's no more stores, there's no more plants that can provide you with the food that you need,
No more transport.
no more transportation.
I've got an article if I may.
Please bring it
From
out.
Bloomberg.
Mhm. Okay, yeah.
This is from Bloomberg, right? And it said, "Oh man, see, they don't want to
Say
say
it.
it out." All right, here we go. You got to pay for it. But I've got the same article on a different
Okay.
platform,
Yeah.
Business Standard, and it says 60% of British factories are at risk
Mhm.
of going under
Mm-mm.
as energy bills soar.
I want you to read that again.
That's more than half. Rocket the whole
That's right.
bunch of your shade.
And it says in the title, 60% of British factories at risk of going under as energy bills soar.
So again, factories, obviously those that own the factories have to pay the energy bills. So if we're in inflationary times, like we're going to go to in the times of the Roman Republic, then guess what? Everything is going to go out of business. This whole entire system is going to be out of business. There's no business. When business is not being done, then you have no economy. Now you rig your people into poverty, to nothingness. Go on, bro.
And it says soaring energy bills are threatening to put 6 in 10 British manufacturing 6 in 10 British manufacturers out of business, according to a
6 in
survey.
10.
6 out of 10.
That's 60%.
Yeah, 60%.
Yeah,
That's what the title says. 60% of them. Wow. And it says according to a survey that lays bare the extent of the crisis facing the next prime minister of the UK.
Which is Liz Truss.
Yes, trust me, now know. Make UK, the lobby group for the UK factories, said that nearly half of manufacturers have experienced a jump in electricity bills of more than 100%.
So you know what that includes? That includes that your food will not get to the stores as it used to. Because of what? They can't afford the electricity, the power.
And if they do have it, they can't store the food because the food needs to be kept in the refrigerator.
Exactly. So let's just say they send the food off. It's going to be rotten food.
Yep.
That's all that's going to be given to you. Go on, bro.
And it says the current crisis is leaving businesses facing a stark choice. The report said, cut production or shut up shop altogether
Huh.
if help does not come
And
soon.
you know what too? What we just read? We read that the grinders shall cease. So what are they going to do? They're going to shut up these stores. They're going to have to. They're going to have to shut these stores down because you know why? On top of that, people are going to go crazy and they're going to start robbing the stores.
So they have nothing anyway.
So they're not going to have anything. You know what the stores are going to do? The stores are going to have to heighten the prices of their goods so that the stores can pay the bills. Go on, bro.
Well, pretty much backing up the article because there was a Twitter comment that screenshot by a guy named James Alcott. And it said here, my current energy bill for my tiny 22 cover restaurant is $2,928 per year. But this is my new quote. And just skipping on to the actual increase. The new cost that he's now paying for electricity is £22,516. Yeah, £22,516.
And it kind of reminds me of another article that one of my heads was posting among the brotherhood on how you had this guy he owns a bar, right? And the bill went from 20,000 to 60,000. Yeah, that's the bill that's because of the electricity. So it's going crazy, and by October the 1st, I'm telling you, bro, like everything's gonna go up. So between October 1st and March, the Passover that's coming up, they're gonna have to somehow, some way bring the chip.
Baba Shah.
The next Passover, I suspect in the spirit, man, it's going to be.
Oh, Baba Shah.
It might be medieval, man.
Oh,
You
man.
might be sitting there candlelight.
Elder might have to buy the beat like 2 weeks before.
Right.
Put it in the freezer. Because you ain't gonna, have that in the shops, man.
Yes,
Oh,
it is.
There ain't no going to the Tesco's 2 nights before.
Yeah.
You gotta have that meat ready, man.
And no
Yeah,
disrespect, we hope and pray there's no electricity. You can't even cook it. We
Hey,
pray. We
It
pray.
could be like that,
You
man.
know what I mean?
And the Spirit's putting
Of
our
gas.
brothers to watch a lot of them like primitive root videos,
Yeah.
Mhm.
how to start fires and stuff, man.
Mhm.
Because we're getting to that point.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
let me continue on. And it says the UK's new Prime Minister, which will be announced on Monday, which is today,
Mhm.
which we know is Liz Truss,
Mm.
says the Conservative Leadership Party race. The government is under intense pressure
Mhm.
to announce a wider package of support to help consumers and businesses cope with an unprecedented surge
Mhm.
in global energy costs.
You know what that wide package is going to be? It's going to be electrical at this point in time. Once they get everything prepared and ready on that side of things, everything's turned into a digital setting. Excuse me. That's what I wanted to say. So within that digital setting, that world, guess what? You're going to have to receive that implantable device, right? That's what you're going to have to get in this new world system because they're doing this by purpose. Everything that's going on out here is not being done by accident or happening by random. It's done by purpose, man, because they have a plan and agenda. And it's funny because we're the elite on the right hand side, and we know what the elite on the left hand side is doing. Yeah, because what they're doing is going according to prophecy. And the ultimate prophecy that they're going to fulfill is Revelations 13, 15 all the way down to 17. And that's that Karakba they're going to bring in. It all leads back to that right there.
You said?
Go on now.
This is Isaiah 32, verse 9. Rise up, ye women that are at ease. Hear my voice, ye careless daughters. Give ear unto my speech.
Son.
Many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women, for the vintage shall fail, and the gathering shall not come.
A lot of these women out here, they've been conditioned to think, to believe, because the media told them all throughout, their time of growing up in the system, that they don't need a man for nothing, and they're just as strong as a man. And a man is just a utility for them. And, so, but with that being said, when they can't get their necessities that they need from the government to take care of their children, a lot of them have the children rather than the men do. Guess what? They're going to be in they're going to be in shit. Just going to just put it to you bluntly, and the pride is just going to go out the window from there. This whole notion of I don't need a man, this and that, and the third, is the government's backing them up any doggone way. Guess what? The government ain't going to have to back you. They're going to have you out here pretty much wallowing the mind just like the men are. And in that time, you're going to need a man. That's why Isaiah 4:1 is going to come to pass. That, what is it? 7 women shall take hold onto thy name.
7 women shall take hold of one man, saying,
Right.
we shall eat our own bread.
Yeah.
And wear our own apparel, only let us be filled by thy name to take away our reproach.
That's what's going to happen. Okay? Because the reality is going to hit everybody right in the face. And that reality is that you're just a mere mortal concerning men and also concerning these women. Okay? You ain't no big deal. That's what society told you you was. You ain't on a high pedestal. You ain't no diva or goddess. None of these things. You're all of these things because you're living in an illusionistic world that doesn't exist.
Yeah, that Latina woman that was in the car with that dude, and she's swallowing her eyes out, 46 and 3.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I saw that.
That's gonna be the new occurrence for a lot of these women, realizing that they ain't the shit that the world told them they were.
Yeah, man.
Reality's gonna hit that they're just women, man. That's all you are. You're the weaker vessel, and you need a man to guide and protect you. You can't protect yourself. You're weak. You're not mentally stable to lead yourself. That's why every decision that these women make, you notice, they always fuck it up.
Yeah.
They fuck themselves up.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times they're not thinking rationally, they're thinking emotionally. So by this woman being in the office that she's in, 10 Downing Street, she's gonna fuck up the country, man.
It's another nail in the coffin for this kingdom.
Yeah. Go on, bro. Who had what? Because I want to be fair.
I had an article, but I can
Okay, you're going now.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 8. For the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man.
Yeah.
Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man.
And you know what, too? This is beautiful, man. This is the Most High showing that he's basically, this is the Lord
pretty much playing on the minds of the people, just like how he played on the minds with the Pharaoh, right? At one time, the Pharaoh was like, okay, I'm gonna let your people go. But then it came a time where he was like, nah, I'm not gonna let your people go. But the Lord was using him to make a point. The Lord was making a point that basically I'm the one that controls men and what men are doing. It's about what it's what I'm doing here on the face of the earth. So what all the Lord did was raise up the pride of all of these other nations above us and raise up the pride of these women. Just so he can make a point and showing you that all of these niggas is just mere mortals out there. That's right.
Right. Yeah. Daniel chapter 4 and 17.
Beautiful.
This matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men.
That's the bottom fucking line. That's when the world is going to realize that it was the Most High that ruled in the kingdom of men. So the men that were at the bottom, pretty much the beggar that was sitting at the rich man's table, while everybody has this pride, every nation, including these females out here, they're going to be brought low, and the beggar's going to be raised back up.
Talk about that woman's wife is a dog. You know what I mean?
You already prophesied against him. You said this woman and the dog. Right.
See, look at that.
You said that.
But that was the same one. Right?
Well, I tell you. Why is a dog, man?
You see how you got to be careful what you say? Because it become the past, man. But it just goes to show you how powerful the prophets are.
Yeah.
So she look like she feel like she's getting the deep. Yeah. She look cold, man. Because I said I do remember saying it, man. She's gonna die with that dog. She looks like she's gonna die, man.
Proud as hell also.
Yeah, so it just, this is a serious thing. Like, can't be messing around with the men of the Lord. And you see, the thing with vocab alone, the Most High is just pretty much letting them hang himself with the amount of rope he got.
Didn't he do a video where he's wearing a hood trying to bring out scriptures? I think I saw it earlier
In Virginia, right?
I don't know exactly what it was, but he's wearing orange and he's trying to bring out some scriptures. He's butchering them. But he's wearing a hood.
Yeah, he was reading Acts chapter 2 and he was wearing a hat too.
Yeah, and I was thinking to myself, hang on a minute, don't just say no man should prophesy with the head covered. So if he really believes in the word, he's going. Why is he not adhering to it? Obviously, we know he's not. Like anyway, and he's just there to cause contention. But, you know what I'm saying? It's just he's looking more and more like a fool. The more he tries to come against us, the more he's exposed himself. He's just an idiot.
It's just a goddamn.
You know what? He's just fuel to the fire. That's all it is. He's making everything hotter. You know what I mean?
They were calling him Haman, isn't it?
God. And I mean, when you watch that video, man, he does look foolish. He looks foolish. He does. Right now, he's like, you actually take a look at him, his body language. Yeah. He just looks like he's begging for attention now at this point, because he's already digging to the books. He's already read the Bible, and the Bible doesn't really go with what he's talking about. Yeah? So if it doesn't go on what he's talking about, that's the end of white supremacy. Because that's really what the Christians are pushing. They're pushing white supremacy. That's what they keep pushing out there, right? To bring Jake back to sleep. So if we as Israelites, if we go back to sleep and acknowledge their God, then that's going to give them a sense of empowerment. That's what they want. But guess what, man? Our power is resorting back to the Heavenly Father. The power that the Lord gave us, we're using that power to serve Him now. See? That's the way it's supposed to be. Fuck you devils, man.
That's right.
All of you Christian motherfuckers, man. Like, a lot of these dudes, they quote scriptures and this and that, the third, but yo, like, you had Christians that was lynching so-called blacks in the States.
Yeah.
And they had like a whole gathering of people watching Jake getting lynched and burned at the same time.
Taking postcards of it, sending it to their friends.
And you know what too? They was even eating Jakes too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would eat our people. That's why you have a thing called what is it? Jerk. So they would burn the Jake at the stake and you know, take a piece of the skin and just eat it. Yeah. That's what they used to do.
If we're that hated,
but these were Christian stuff. Yeah. These were God-fearing Edomite Christians. Come on, man. Fuck out of here. You going, bro. You got something to say?
No, I read the scripture I had.
Okay.
Just one more verse. It says, verse 12, Isaiah 32 and 12.
Is that? Okay.
But Isaiah 32 and 12, they shall lament for the teats, for the pleasant fields, and for the fruitful vine. That's all going away, man, because we're entering times of famine. Man, these people don't know what's coming. But these people, like, for example, most people in this society, they ain't gone more than a few hours without eating, unless they're homeless. So these people don't really know what it means to be hungry. We're doing the day of atonement now, so you know, we're kind of feeling a bit hungry now because it's coming up to the end of it. But a lot of these people, it's like they're always fucking snacking, like they're at home, you know, stacking on the biscuits, stacking on the cookies. Everything's just a few footsteps away to the fridge. When that fridge is no longer stocked, and the shops are no longer stocked, and it's like, hang on a minute, I'm living in the middle of a concrete jungle. Where am I going to find food? Then the reality is going to dawn on me. Shit, man, I'm fucked. You're not going to be able to exit the cities because what did the scriptures say? A man shall desire to go into a city, and shall not be able to. It's going to be locked down, man. Just like you see them, it's like I'm talking a bit, but
No, go on.
you see them drones flying around in China now, telling them to stay in your houses, and the kids are screaming out because they're hungry. I mean, come on, man. This is hilarious. I mean, I'm laughing, man, because the scriptures say, "You shall be hungry, but my servant shall eat."
That's right. That's right, man. So I mean, like, these people, they're gonna be brought down low, and they deserve to get brought down low because they've been walking with their head up their ass for so many freaking years. Now it's just been getting on my nerves, man.
Yep.
That's probably why I slipped to that guy in the place. He even had that foul look on his face.
Oh, yeah,
Security man, you know. So yeah, to hell with these people. Fuck these people.
You're talking about Moab, and then you got oversized one past, man.
Yeah.
She got the memo. She got the memo early. You know?
Yeah.
Fuck out of China.
She's gonna lose a lot of weight soon. Now.
Right.
And I mean, it's like people are trying to escape the things that's going on in their country, but they're going to meet the same problems that they're trying to escape from because the world is all together in unison as one. So it's a one global setting. So whatever happens in your world is going to happen in this world. Yeah. That's how it goes, man. Anyway, yeah. I want you to read Luke. Thing is, well, you can read it, brother. Yeah, 19. Okay. You know where it references the labor. Because I want to go back into that. I want to finish off on that. Just going into. Yeah. You can start from yeah, you could begin by reading verse 12.
Okay. This is the book of Luke, chapter 19, verse 12, and it says, "He said, therefore, a certain nobleman who went into a far country to receive for himself a kingdom and to return. And he called his 10 servants and delivered them 10 pounds. And he said unto them, occupy till I come."
That's what I want to get into. Occupy till I come.
You know what? So that's what I'm looking in the blue word occupy. Edification. Right. So the word for occupy is G4231 pragmatio omahi.
You know what that goes back to? That goes back to exactly. Goes back to the word pragmatic.
And it says that the meanings to be occupied in anything, to carry on a business.
To carry on a business.
Like the business of a banker or trader.
Exactly. That's what we was all talking about. Right? So we're laborers involved in Yahweh's business. He's the chief executive owner of the business. And we're his servants. So we're to build on his business. Right? Because we've entered into his labors. Basically, he's the forerunner of our faith. So he's allowing us to stand good in his grace. But how do we really be covered under that? By finishing the work, doing the work and finishing the work, as it you just read. Occupy until I come. Go on, bro.
Verse 14, and it says, "But his citizens hated him and sent a message after him, saying, we will not have this man to reign over us. And it came to pass that when he was returned, having received the kingdom, then he commanded these servants to be called unto him,
Yes.
to whom he had given the money,
Right.
that he might know how much every man had gained by trading."
Right, and the money represents the talent, your skill. What are you? Okay, you got a talent that the Lord gave you. Because the Lord gave you two things. He gave you a talent, and he also gave you faith. So now with those two things, you're supposed to produce what you can give out. If I'm saying that correctly, the head ain't all the way there because we're doing the thing, right? So that's what we're supposed to do. Produce our cause. That's what I wanted to say. Go on, bro.
16, then came the first saying, Lord, thy pound hath gained 10 pounds.
Right.
He said unto him, well done, Salakia, well, thou good servant, because thou hast been faithful in a very little, have thou authority over 10 cities.
Go on.
And the second came, saying, Lord, thy pound hath gained 5 pounds. And he said likewise to him, be thou also over 5 cities. And another came, saying, Lord, behold, here is thy pound, which I have kept laid up in a napkin.
Right.
For I feared thee, because thou art an austere man.
Right, go on.
Thou takest up that thou layest not down, and reapest thou that thou didst not sow.
Yeah.
And he said unto him, out of thine own mouth will I judge thee, thou wicked servant. Thou knewest that I was an austere man, taking up that I laid not down, and reaping that I did not sow.
Yeah, because even though he was given that one talent, he could have put that one talent to use. He probably looked at the talent, oh, it's just one talent. It's not enough for me to really produce the way the amount that I want to produce this one talent. You know what I mean? So this is a business, man. And what this is really talking about, again, this is referencing to the talents, which goes into a precept that I'm thinking about right now, where it says that every man give according to his several ability. So you have brothers that can cover heavier topics than other brothers. That's why you got some brothers in GMS that are more obviously, more popular than other brothers. You know, they have more viewing and stuff like that, have more of a following. Some brothers have a medium ground of a following. Some brothers have little to no following. But guess what? It's really according to your several ability. So the little or large ability that the Lord gives you, you're supposed to use that, man, so that the Lord can benefit off of that. And what is the benefit? Gaining the elect. Somebody can get John 15:16 real quick. You can finish off on this. Because the Lord called us, man. We didn't call unto the Lord and choose the Lord. He chose us. So we're going to go into that.
John chapter 15, starting at verse 16.
Yeah.
You have not chosen me, but I have chosen you
God.
and ordained you
Yeah.
that you should go and bring forth fruit.
And that you shall bring forth fruit. Ordained you that you shall bring forth fruit. So your talents, that's what you do. Is to bring forth fruit. Not have the talent and then sit on the talent. Matthew 25 tells us that pretty much we all have a candle. I'm roughly paraphrasing the scriptures, right?
The oil.
Right, the oil. No, I'm
the virgins.
right, but I'm thinking about another verse, brother. It says something to the effect of how does it go? No, not that one. Who put up a candle under a bushel? Yeah, so we have the candle. Each and every brother is a candle.
A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid, and a man cannot put a candle under the bushel.
Yeah, there you go. So every brother has their lamps burning, and as well as every brother is a candle. So you're supposed to show that candle so that all can see. Go on, bro.
Right. It says, "You have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you that you should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever ye shall ask of the Father in my name, he may give it to you."
There you go, man. So you have to do the work first. You have to use your civil ability, your talent to gain the elect. That's how it goes. And you have to do the work to the very end. And even if you don't gain any fruit, you're supposed to do the work to the very end, because that's your obligation. That's what you were given to do as a man of the law. You know, so with that being said, I'm going to give all of the praises and glory to the Most High Son.
Yahweh, Hashem, Yahusha, Hashem, the God with us.
One Yasharallah.
One
Yasharallah. Baba Shalom. 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 Psalms 149.